Welcome back to the Rant, the best bowling show in the world, and I have a very special guest, PBA player and Radical national staffer, Tom Smallwood. Tom, how are you, buddy?
Great, Chris. How you doing?
I'm living the dream down here in Florida, and I hear, even though it's rainy down here, that's warmer than where you're at.
Yeah, we had snow all day yesterday, so a little warmer today, getting in the 50s, which is like a heat wave. Not so much for you, but for us.
Right.
Yeah, just waiting for the weather to break, which I'm not really sure if I want it to break or not, because
Mm,
then I want to golf and I can't. So I'm
right.
not allowed to go out yet. So yeah, hanging low and like everyone else in the world.
All right. Well, we are going to get into this interview. I've got some questions for you, things that we're going to talk about that I'm sure a lot of bowlers are interested in. So let's get started. How long have you been bowling?
I started in my mid to late teens, a little later than most people.
Hmm.
I played other sports all until then. So I was probably 13, 14 when I actually started really bowling at all, maybe 12, but in
Okay.
that area. Yeah. Just for fun, obviously.
Hmm.
Kind of started doing my style because I couldn't really hook it with my thumb all the way in it. And a
Okay.
couple of kids in youth league were doing no thumb, so I kind of developed my own little style to try to get my ball to hook. And
Okay.
that's when I actually started seeing improvement and actually started to enjoy the game a little more.
Fantastic. I assume you started with urethane and not reactive resin.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Blue hammer, black hammer, red
Okay.
hammer. So all those were my first bowling balls, my first performance bowling balls. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I was a little before the era of resin.
Right. Okay. And how old were you when you shot your first 300 and your first 800?
Um, I was pretty terrible when I was young. So I think I was 20
Okay.
my first 300, and I was 21 for my first 800.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too far
Yeah.
apart then.
No, it was I started practicing a lot in that time frame.
Hmm.
The time was when I was 18, 19, started dating a girl that was really good,
Okay.
and I was just sick of her beating me every time I bowled. So it
Right.
kind of forced
Nothing.
me to practice a little harder and get a little better. So that's kind of where I went from a complete hack to a little less of a hack right in that time frame.
Nothing like a little relationship motivation.
Right.
Okay. And, so you obviously started bowling really, really good. How now you used to be a Brunswick staffer because I saw you on the with Brunswick jerseys, and I even watched you on the Danger Zone vintage
Correct.
commercial.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
commercial, by the way. Zone rolls, as you called them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you're with Radical. How long have you been with Radical?
This is my fifth or sixth season with Radical.
Okay.
Um, uh, just it's a sister company of Brunswick, so it's kind of how it happened.
Okay. Fantastic. What is it about the Radical brand that attracts you to be a staffer for them, to represent their brand?
Well, to be completely honest, which maybe not be, I might get in trouble for this or not.
Okay.
It was kind of one of those things where it just kind of happened.
Hmm.
I was with Brunswick. They're looking for a staffer. That was when Black Ridiculous just came out around
Hmm.
that time frame, and that ball still is maybe one of the best point balls I've ever thrown.
Yeah, that ball's
Um,
fantastic.
so it was they had an opening, and I told Chuck.
Hmm.
I literally left Vegas, told Chuck right before I left the World Series, said, "Hey, if you need another staffer, if you maybe switch, whatever, I'm on board." I land in Detroit after Vegas. I open my phone on, turn it on, text, which from Chuck, uh, call me right away. I'm like, oh God, what I do wrong? God, I've had a couple of those texts where you don't know what you're
Right.
doing, and he's like, hey, were you serious? And I said, yeah, of course. Whatever really helped the team out. I've only drilled a few balls, but the ones I've drilled, I've loved.
Yep.
So yeah, absolutely. And it was an easy transition because you're still able to throw the Brunswick stuff
Hmm.
and deviate.
Hmm.
Um, but obviously now anyone watching bowl, I rarely throw those balls anymore. I'm probably 80-20 Radical I throw,
Hmm.
but that's kind of how it all transitioned. Um, had a couple bowling balls I really liked, and I said I was on board. Whatever helped the team out, I'm in,
Hmm.
and it's worked out great. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
you've
I,
carved out your own identity. I mean, when people see you, they think of Radical.
Yeah, yeah. And I saw his opportunity also. I think still I'm only national tour staffer. There might be a senior staffer,
Hmm.
not positive, but yeah, I love representing the brand. Um, Great people behind it. Brunswick is a great family.
Hmm.
Been with them 11 years now.
Wow,
You know,
that's fantastic.
yeah, absolutely love it. They treat me great. Hopefully they think the same of me. We'll see.
I have heard nothing but good things about the Radical and Brunswick staffing program, about how they work with their athletes, the relationship management that goes behind it. So, yeah, what you're saying is very consistent with what everybody else has said about the company.
Yeah,
Uh,
no issues at all ever. It's small. It's like every other team, and
mhm.
and bowling industry itself is small. You
Absolutely.
you kind of know everybody just by being in it. So great team from the top to the bottom.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to switch gears for a second. Nemeth was telling me you're an avid golfer and hunter, and what similarities do you draw between those activities and bowling?
All it's one common denominator is patience.
Hmm.
I think that's the biggest key in any sport.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, honey, that's my passion.
Okay.
Uh, I'd never throw an bowling ball again. I'd never hit our golf ball again. But you could never take away hunting. Um, so that's my passion. I think about that's what drives me to. I love it. I love being in the woods, being by myself.
Hmm.
Um, but
What's your
no,
preferred What's your preferred game?
whitetail.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, it's almost all I hunt is whitetail.
That's good eats.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm crazy about it. My wife don't think that's like that great, but yeah, that's my passion. That's what I do all the time and spend all the time in the woods when I can.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. And now, when you're on the road, do you have a favorite place to eat, like, or do you have a specific routine?
Not not really. Generally, what if we have time? Um, I ring with Ronnie Russell, so it's
Hmm.
generally some place with a golden tee, so him and EJ can play golden tee for a few hours. And I follow around. I'll play one game, and they play all night. So that's generally it. So Buffalo Wild Wings,
Hmm.
we end up at a lot just the fact that they all have them.
Hmm.
Uh, and any local place can find that has one. We
Okay.
like to be local
Yeah.
local flavor is always good.
Yeah.
So that's what
Local eats. That's what's up.
yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a Chris Beans question because I'm a foodie. I ask everybody this question, regardless if it's an interview or not, when I'm getting to know somebody. What is your absolute favorite food, if given the choice?
I love Italian.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
okay.
don't set very good for bowling.
Right.
Heavy meals aren't very good, so we don't do that very often,
Hmm.
unless we have a long day to work it off that day
Hmm.
and next morning. But no, that's my favorite.
Now, you like you like pasta? You like the pizza?
Oh, it's pasta. I love
Okay.
Alfredo, which is the
Okay.
most fattening thing you can possibly eat in the world. But another reason you don't have it that often. But
Okay.
no, that's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. I assume you know Don Yoshihara.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Him and I, we always talk about it. We have fat boy problems for a reason.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So, all right. Who did you look up to when you were younger?
Starting a little when I was a little older. I've always loved watching Norm Bowl.
Okay.
Um, Absolutely, just the people that keep their emotions in check. I always feel were fun to watch. I locally I had Kurt Pelon to watch. I don't know if
Hmm.
you know Kurt Pelon very well.
I don't.
He's just there's no ups and downs. He's always the same. And I
Okay.
always like that's how I always kind of wanted to be. I didn't want to be the guy to be the hothead or the guy to be down on myself. Just that middle, do work. I mean, you're doing your jobs. What you're literally doing, and try to stay as focused and as even keel as you can.
Hmm. Okay.
And and granted, I mean Norm's the best clutch bowlers ever walked the planet.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
uh, I still admire watching him bowl when I'm bowling next to him. It's just fun to watch him work and how good he still is and competes at the absolute highest level in the world is amazing.
I could talk about Norm all day, but I'm not going to because this interview's about you. And I'm not going to lie, I am one of your biggest fans. I have cheered for you on TV when you're going up against the best in the world. And, I rode those waves with a ton of fans out there that you have. when you're on the high, and we're still in the corner when you come down. But one thing I've noticed, I'm looking at my notes here. Here it is. Some people say you've got ice in your veins. How did you develop that?
Um, I don't know. I did, or I think it's a personality thing. I think it's
Okay.
just I try to keep a calm head for the most part. Um, honestly, I think hunting helps out a lot. You see
Okay.
a tree stand, you have a deer within 10 yards of you. You can't move. It's a waiting game, and I think it comes down to patience.
Okay.
Um, you're not always going to win,
Sure.
and I kind of this thought came in my head. I mean, probably 7, 8, 9 years ago. Just I'm never going to throw a shot on TV that changes my life. Not one. Maybe the 12th one for 300 and a major for $1 million.
Yeah. Let's say that's
That's
probably the
but,
only
but
one.
but that's the only one. So
Yep.
I think I guess it is a way to ease some tension off yourself.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's realistic too. I mean, I get to come home to my kids. They're gonna love me if I throw a gutter ball or throw a strike to win. It don't matter.
Right.
And bottom line, that's what really matters to me.
100%. 100%. Okay. So we're gonna switch gears again. Um, I've got 3 words: rack, attack, solid.
Yeah, that's been my go-to ball for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I'm not saying it's for everybody. It's just one of those bowling balls that I feel if I can control the pocket with it, I can make it strike. So I throw it probably more than I should because it's such it's just I feel I can control it and throw 220 with it on almost anything.
Yeah.
So it's always those things where it's always there. I have a little bit higher rev rate to my ball speed,
Hmm.
and it's such a control ball.
What is your
I,
rev rate?
um, Probably around 440, 450.
Okay, that's still pretty good.
But ball speed's slow. I'm 15.5,
Okay.
probably 17 off my hand, 17 and a half off my hand.
Okay.
So yeah, so a little slower ball speed. So the big, stronger bowling balls seem to burn up a little more for me than they do for the normal person.
Mm-hmm.
So those bowling balls for me, like the rack attack and you know even the counter attacks, are balls that for me I can make react a little bit like a stronger ball like other people do.
Mm-hmm.
They become a little bit stronger bowling ball in my hand than they do in other people. So yeah, that ball has been my baby and my go-to a lot.
How many rack attacks do you own right now?
Um, I think I have 3 on a PBA truck. If we ever see that truck again, um, I have 3 or 4 blanks yet, and then I
Okay.
probably have 4 or 5 around here drilled.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I
Now,
can't get enough of those.
what about the Black Ridiculous? How many of those do you have?
Similar. I might
Okay.
actually have more of those drilled, just
Oh.
because they were more available
Okay.
at the time, so I could get my hands on more of them. But yeah, those 2 are my go-to bowling balls. And the thing is that the worst part is I really like some of our new stuff too. I mean, I love our new stuff. It's just like you get those situations where you just know what the ball's going to do, and
Yeah.
it's hard to give away a frame if you're not 100% positive what the ball's going to do.
Well, you got to make. I imagine ball selection is very much like a business decision for you.
Absolutely, yeah. You cannot afford to lose 3 or 4 frames, and you have those babies in your bag that you know what they're going to do, and
Mm-hmm.
if you can get to them, you can qualify in top 5 or lead an event. And so I'm very guilty of grabbing those probably too often. Ask my ball reps, they get
Mm-hmm.
sick and tired of watching me throw that purple ball.
Until you're on TV, right?
Right, and then it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They tell me all the time we don't care what you throw during the week, just get to TV. But then they get very annoyed me watch me throw some of the older stuff during the week. But I'm very guilty of being stubborn. I'm awful. I don't know how they deal with me.
Well, you're an athlete. It's dealer's choice.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Now, how would you compare the counterattack solid to the rack attack solid? Now that you've had some time with it.
They're similar. Why I like the rack attack more is probably why everyone else likes the counter attack more. I
Hmm.
like the rack attack because I can get to go more forward, which generally in bowling's terms is not what people are looking for. They want to see sideways.
Hmm.
But I have the counter attack probably 2 to 3 boards more
Hmm.
and way more angular than the original rack attack.
Yeah, it's
Which
a little longer, right?
yeah, it makes for a better bowling ball for everybody else. For me, what I'm looking for when I'm out bowling on tour is not necessarily that. I'm looking for control, not more down lane.
Right.
But it's definitely a great step up where, it's because for me, there's such a big gap between like a rack attack and a next bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle with that. So that ball fell right into that line. It helped me a lot. Um, but yeah, it's a great bowling ball. I just rack attack's still my baby.
Phil told me there's more on the way, so I'm interested to seeing how that works out for you.
Yeah, he hinted to me a little bit too. He didn't wouldn't tell me all the details. I'm not sure why not. I find out usually right after you guys find out what bowling balls are coming out. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm sure if I was a little more, uh, how do I say it? Sean
Persistent?
Rash, I'd know more.
Yeah.
He likes to have his fingers in stuff and know what's going on all the time. I'm the guy who goes home like, all right, they show my doorstep, I'll throw them and we'll talk about it then. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Good deal. Now, you just talked about some of the new stuff, so let's jump into that. What do you like best about TP1 on the results?
clean. It's very
Yeah.
clean. Unfortunately, I haven't got to throw it a ton.
Okay.
Obviously, we got cut a little short.
Yep.
Vegas, I haven't thrown a bowling ball since Vegas, so I'm not sure how long that is. At least a month.
That's got to
So
be
this,
a lifetime for you.
yeah, it's maybe the longest I've been without bowling in 15 to 20 years. But no, clean. I haven't had a chance to throw it a ton, but when I did, it rolled amazing.
Okay.
Um, like I said, I'm so guilty of throwing some older stuff because I know what it does. Like
Mm-hmm.
for my big ball right now, the closer's the big ball,
Mm-hmm.
and I like symmetrical bowling balls.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so hard to get other bowling balls in my bag, and I can throw them in practice. I just have a hard time throwing them in competition if I know what this ball's going to do. It's kind of hard for me to throw a bowling ball that I'm iffy on.
Sure.
I'm not positive what it's going to do.
Sure.
So yeah, and that's on me. But the bowling ball rolls really good so far.
Fantastic. Now, what about the closer pearl? Have you tried that?
I've thrown it a few times. Like I said, closer is my big ball. So you put a pearl cover on a great bowling ball already. So you see a little more length and a little more down lane reaction,
Yep.
which obviously is great. Not necessarily for me. My slower ball speed, I like smoother stuff, and I can make it hook more down lane with my hand
Mm-hmm.
than the actual bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those stuff that gets a little sideways, I don't necessarily like as much
Mm-hmm.
because my slow ball speed, it makes the middles look a little flatter than they are. But no, it was a great bowling ball. A little more down lane than that closer. Closer for me is a little stronger overall, but you're talking like, another foot or two down lane and a little more pop.
Okay. What are the best and worst things about being a professional bowler?
Uh, those are really easy. The best is I get to play a game for a living. Um, Granted, we're not golfers, but I get to do okay and bowl compete at the highest level in the world at something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never, when I started bowling, I never, or even bowling trying PBA stuff, it was never about getting on TV. It was about competing against the best on the planet. And that in my own head just was like unbelievable to me.
Okay.
That you're really bowling against the best on the planet, and competing and every once in a while get make that top five and get stink on a TV show, and every once in a while hold a trophy.
Yep.
And the worst, it's the family.
Yeah.
I don't travel near as much as a lot of people do just because of that. I don't do the overseas trips very often. My kids are 8 and 12. My daughter will be 13 here in about 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate missing a second of that if I don't have to.
Sure. Yeah.
So that, and then they mess up my hunting season here and there too. That's what they could just not have any bowling between October and January. We're good.
Right.
But yeah, but it's all right.
Okay. Let's see. What is your funniest bowling experience on the tour?
You sent me this one before. I read this. I'm like, I really didn't have a ton.
Okay.
The one I thought was hilarious that I don't know if anyone else did because I was right there in front row. The Sean Rash bottle. Everything in my body I had to hold myself back from starting crying laughing. So, I mean, it wasn't, there was purpose behind it. And Sean is like one of those guys too, kind of like a Pete thing.
Mm-hmm.
They love to figure their stuff to get mad. They both great mad.
Yeah.
And they always try to find that little spot to get angry about and get them going. And, Sean's done a great job at it in his career because he's a great bowler.
Yep.
And, kind of like Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Pete really don't think necessarily is that mad all the time. I think he looks for reasons to get mad.
Sure.
Because it drives him to bowl better, and he does it all the time. And every time you see him getting mad and throwing stuff, he has a 7-bagger every time.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of get where it kind of fuels their fire. But yeah, that's probably my funniest that I could say on a show.
Okay.
But yeah, that was pretty good.
What was your most memorable moment on the tour?
Um, I have two.
Okay.
Um, making through tour trials might be the biggest moment ever. Just being not having a job, not knowing what you're gonna do,
Hmm.
and then making it that week. That was as special as special or more special than any win I've ever had.
Okay.
Um, just because it got my foot in the door to what happened. It was just a start to whatever could happen, and it
Life
worked out
changing
okay.
experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a couple years ago in Columbus, when my whole family was there when I won. So that, I mean, if success means nothing, you have no one to share it with.
Sure.
So when they get to come down, they're only 4.5 hours away. They drove down and that was as good as it gets.
That's fantastic. So, one of my most favorite memories of you on TV, I preface that on TV because otherwise it sounds creepy, is at the Elias Cup, you had to throw a critical shot in the very last frame. You threw the shot and you guys won, and your team hoisted you up on your shoulders. What was that like?
The pinnacle of the main experience really was. That place is electric. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe in the early '90s and late '80s, some bowlers had some spots like that, but in my time frame, there's nothing like it. That place is just amazing, and to be fortunate enough to throw that shot,
Mm-hmm.
we all have a pile of nerves. It don't matter how cool you look or don't look. Everyone has them. Pete Weber has them. Norm Duke has them.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are legends of the game that done it hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and a team that I had a great time with.
Yeah.
It was a team that we're all friends. Uh, Probably my favorite team I ever bowled with.
Mm-hmm.
The guys were, we hang out. They were all on a Zoom call last night, and I was downstairs doing some stuff, so I couldn't be on it. But yeah, the whole team that was that year was on the Zoom call. But it's fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I don't like saying lucky, but it's fortunate. It was just that's why you bowl
Yeah.
moments like that. You just don't get. They don't happen very often, and you have to kind of live it up when you get them.
The Elias Cup, the reason I like it is because it's the closest thing I feel like that is relatable for league bowling to what you see on TV. Is where the two places collide because you have the energy and you have the high fives. You're not just two people or sitting down or rotating round robin and everyone's sitting on their seat. It's real. And when I saw that moment, I couldn't help but just wonder. I mean, it wasn't like you guys won $1 million. It wasn't like you won a huge amount of money. It was just leaving it all on the table. I mean, what is it? What I mean, how do you come back from that?
Uh, I don't know how you do that. It just it's a hard thing to deal. It's you live and die in every shot, and I'm sure this is the same for other players. I know it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more pressure in those situations with your team, and we're not bowling for, like you said, we're not bowling for $1 million. We didn't win a $1 billion by winning that game. Is only get to the next match. That was first or second round. I'm not
I
sure
think
which
that was
round
the semifinals, and you were the anchor bowler on that team at that time.
Yeah, it was actually it was our second roll off.
Yeah.
It was 2 roll offs, and yeah, Dom struck the first time, and then I luckily struck the second time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's why that place is so electric. It's we don't get that team stuff. There's way more pressure per person.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something different. We don't get to do anymore. World Team Challenges were awesome back in 15 years ago. They were pretty cool too. But we haven't had that kind of team competition like that in 15 or 20 years. And yeah, I would miss that if we ever lost that.
Sure.
With this year, I was just talking to my wife yesterday. I couldn't imagine that place without fans. So imagine we went
Yeah.
bold that we couldn't have fans. I don't think it would be. I don't know if we could do it. I mean, it just wouldn't be the same.
Maybe they just social distance, spread them out, zoom out the
Right,
camera a
right.
little bit.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so let's switch gears. What would be your best advice for bowlers wanting to get better?
It's boring, but it's practice. It's only practice. Starting to get in little tournaments.
Mm,
Get your feet wet. That's how everyone I know that's a good bowler got there.
okay.
I mean, I started with getting my butt kicked all the time by local bowlers and state bowlers, just going to get my feet wet, and you learn little by little, and you get better and better and better, and that's the only really way to know what you're lacking.
Mm-hmm.
If you just practice at your home center all the time, you're gonna be really really good at your home center.
Right.
But you might not be any good anywhere else. So it's one of those things you have to get your feet wet and see different things to get better at different things. You just look at the same thing all the time and bowling that over and over, you're gonna be really good at that, but maybe nothing else.
Right. Now, what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied during the quarantine?
um, obviously been home a lot with the kids, but
Okay.
my dad and I have 40 acres, a little less than an hour from me, where I hunt a lot, and so I've been getting up there a couple times a week, just walk around, do whatever, and kind of my little sanctuary, I guess, to
Nice.
do some stuff. So yeah, a few days a week up there, and just doing whatever, just walking with the kids and stuff, and
Okay.
keeps my sanity a little bit.
And what are you looking forward to first when it's over?
I don't know. I don't really hate this. Generally, if I miss time, I mean, if I miss time, I'm not bowling and I'm home with my family. I always feel guilty,
Hmm.
and I have no choice. I don't feel near as guilty now. My wife works from home now. With my kids every single day, which sometimes is a pain, but 90% of the time is awesome. I wouldn't trade this time for anything in the world. So yeah, I'm ready to go back and bowl. There's no question. I think next week I'm gonna force the bowling center to open up for me a little bit to sneak in and bowl.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Um,
I'm surprised someone hasn't handed you the key and said, okay, midnight, show up, and while the lane's dressed.
well, it's just such a tough time right now for bowling centers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's gonna hurt them. We're gonna lose more centers than I think we ever have over
Mm-hmm.
this if they don't get the help they need. So I feel a little guilty and selfish for asking.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I have a really close friend as a center.
Mm-hmm.
He's told me I could come bowl whenever I want to. It just, it's seeing them struggle and trying to help you out. I feel selfish and guilty. So
Sure.
I'm trying to, you know, put up as long as I can. And next week, I think it's been long enough. I need to throw some shots or I'll have complete rust, not just a little rust.
Now, the last question I forgot to ask you. Um, a lot of bowlers don't know what a Detroit half thumb is. Could you explain what that is?
I've never even heard of a Detroit half thumb, but apparently it's a thing. Did
Oh,
Mo make this
really?
up? I think
That
Mo made this up.
okay? Yeah.
Really, it's just I have a normal span, uh,
Okay.
1/8 inch difference between my fingers, and I just kind of hold my thumb. I turn the ball in my hand and only hold it half my thumb in it,
Okay. To the first
so it actually
knuckle.
lays on my wrist, and
Okay.
my thumb's only halfway in it. That's kind of how I hold it. I started with no thumb,
Okay.
and I felt like in my swing my ball would move around too much, where I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have control of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started putting my thumb in it just to kind of have a control and a consistent anchor point, and that's kind of what the thumb was. More of a guide, I guess it kind of is that for everybody, but
Right.
that's kind of how I started doing it. I didn't like the feel of a no thumb and the ball moving around my wrist while was my approach.
Okay.
So I just kind of cheated that way a little bit.
Fantastic, Tom. It has been an honor and a pleasure. Bowlers, as always, more updates to come.
Thank you so much.